Hi, my dears. It's been a while since I've seen you. I want to go over a little bit about selection tools. Selection tools are what we use to modify images when we're using Photoshop, or Photopea in this case. Selection tools come in a lot of different variations. One of them you'll be really familiar with already because it's the Magic Wand tool. And we know we've used that in Illustrator, and the Magic Wand tool selects by color. There's a couple of tweaks to that when you're using a photo editing software. Now, these selection tools, I'm going to go over them very quickly, very briefly, and then I will be giving you tutorials on how to complete your next assignment, which will be using selection tools to build a face. So I'm going to pause me. So I've gone ahead and I've opened up a document in my, sorry, I want these tools to disappear for a second. Thank you. And thanking the program on Photopea. Now this is just a basic document so I can show you the different selection tools. Selection tools are over here on your toolbar. There's a few. I'm going to start with the Magic Wand tool. When you open up Photopea, it will probably have this icon here. This is the object selection or quick object selection tool. But if I click and hold on it to choose the Magic Wand tool, I can see that it selects by color. So if I click here, it's only selecting the red circle. Tolerance is pretty low. We understand tolerance helps you choose which pixels related next to it color-wise, and this is a pretty small tolerance of 10, but that's fine. You'll also notice, though, if I click on anything with a gradient, it's not selecting the whole shape. Additionally, at the top up here where you have these tool selections, you'll see the word contiguous. If I uncheck that, now when I click on a red object, and because I have 1, 2, 3 red objects, it will select all three. Command Z, Command D. So Command D allows you to unselect. So for right now, just with contiguous, if I click on a single red object, it will highlight it. Sorry, Control D, it's a command on a Mac. Same thing over here with the Magic Wand tool. It's only choosing certain colors of the gradient. I do have some options at the top as well in this upper left corner. This one will let me add on to my selection. So you'll see if I delete right now, I've got a crazy weird striped cloud. That's Magic Wand tool. Again, that selects by color. If I go back into these tools, I'll have quick selection tool. Now this is the most handy. I'm going to go back to Magic Wand and delete my background here. When you have this grid, by the way, it means your background is transparent. There's nothing showing. And if you look at the corner, you will see a dotted line. It moves when you are in Photoshop. That just means something's selected. So if you're trying to do something and it won't work, most likely it is because something is selected, and you just have to Control D to deselect. This is my history. It shows me the last couple steps I've done. Now, underneath the Magic Wand tool in the submenu, you will have the Quick Selection tool. Now, the Quick Selection tool works in a couple of ways. First thing I'm going to do, though, up here is where it says mode. I'm going to change it to plus. This means the more I click on something, it's selecting too quickly. It will add on. So you'll see the cloud is still selected. The female figure here is still selected. I've just selected the head. All of those things are now selected because it's adding on to my selection. If, when I'm doing this, I've gone too far and I have too much in my selection, I can go up to minus and take away what I don't want. So that's the Quick Selection tool. The other tool you have here, additional options in the Quick Selection tool are your brush size. So right now it's a 15 pixel brush. You see that circle on there. That shows you how large the brush is. I could increase the size. Now it's even bigger than my circle here. So again, Quick Selection tool is here. Above it, you'll see the lasso. And if you click and hold on the lasso, you have a couple of different options. The lasso, polygonal lasso, and magnetic lasso. Now, magnetic lasso works if you go very slow along the edge, it will click to the edge. It's not necessarily a tool you're going to use that often. Although when it first came out, it was like the most amazing thing. It was before they had Quick Selection tool. Okay. Same way when you're using the pen tool, you always want to close your shape. that will allow you to close your selection. You also have the polygonal lasso, which just lets you do straight lines. Control D to deselect. And then the regular lasso tool, and this is how we had to do it back when I was in school. This lets you draw free-form kind of shapes. So I can draw like a little flower, or I could trace an object that might be slightly more difficult to trace. Now I have a selection here. Let's see if I add in a layer. I can change the color if I wanted to, pick something pretty. Forgot to click OK. And there we go. Control D to deselect, and that will again take off my lasso tool.